Welcome back to wagertalk.com. Saturday college football action. We're heading to the Big 12, and we're going to take a look at Oklahoma State and Oklahoma, and it's for all the marbles in the Big 12, the so-called Big 12 championship game here. And guys, I got to throw the question out because Oklahoma State, you know, they're a team that kind of flown under the radar for most of the season in the Big 12, and it's mainly because they started the season 2-2. The first 4 weeks of the season, they have that game against Central Michigan, which they got screwed by the refs on the bad call, the extended play, and then 2 weeks later they lose to Baylor. So they were forgotten at that point, and they've worked their way back into it. If they didn't lose that game, would we be talking about them in the national championship picture too, that Central Michigan game?
I think you have to, and what's unfortunate is that they should only have one loss. And Baylor, obviously, at the time was playing better. They had their starting quarterback that was playing healthy. But yeah, if they beat Oklahoma this week and they're a one-loss team, the way things have went down in the college football playoff, assuming Clemson or Washington would maybe lose this weekend, then I think that fourth spot would go obviously to Oklahoma State before it would go to a two-loss, Wisconsin or Penn State. So I think it's definitely an option. When that play happened, it was like week 2, I think.
Yep.
I said when it happened, like that's going to be the play of the year. And now that we've seen the play, it should never have been run, but it was, and the receiver caught it, and as he was catching it, flipped it back, kind of like a lateral, kind of like a touch pass in basketball to a guy in who just raced to the corner and barely got in. If Oklahoma State wins this game, I actually will feel really bad for them because it maybe did come down to that play, which is just really unfortunate.
Oklahoma, we've seen this year in and year out. You talked about it, Ralph, a couple of weeks ago on a video. Big game Bobby had his big game losses early in the season, then stormed through the rest of the conference schedule, and here we are now. They're looking at the championship game again. They are playing good football right now, but really the Big 12, the defenses all year long have been horrible.
I mean, yeah, when you are, if you look at conference-only stats, Oklahoma comes in the top 3, and they're allowing almost 500 yards per game. I mean, that is one of the best defenses in the league. So absolutely absurd. So you got to look at the point differences. And, in this Bedlam matchup, Oklahoma is by far the better team because their offense has been so good. But it's also who they played and when they played them. Of late, I look at Oklahoma State and I look at, can they go on the road and score enough points against Oklahoma's defense? And Oklahoma State, their last 2 road games, scored 43 at Kansas State and 31 against TCU. And both of those defenses, in my rankings at least, are better than Oklahoma. So I think that gives them enough on the offensive side to keep them in the game. And I think they also have a strong enough defense to keep within this number.
I'll go to you, Preston. I look at this Oklahoma State team. Last year they got beat 58-23. Now, obviously, this is a big game because it's for the championship. It was the same situation last year, and Oklahoma drilled them at Oklahoma State. But in that game, quarterback Mason Rudolph wasn't in the game. He was injured the week before. So now they have their quarterback this year. Can they, erase the big deficit they had last year?
Yeah, I think they'll put that behind them for sure. And, they're coming in fresh here. And I think I just need to echo Ralph's sentiments. So I'm not sure they're going to be able to score enough. And as bad as it is to say that Oklahoma is one of the best defenses they've played this year, it's true. And so that's going to be an issue. And obviously going on the road and there is extra pressure and it's added pressure. And I don't like that we touched on it at the beginning of the video. I like that we touched on it, the CMU thing. But the coach came out and had to, in an interview yesterday, and had to discuss that CMU game the week that they're trying to play Oklahoma, because the media is getting to it. They're like, hey, do you guys feel like you should be in the discussion for the college football playoff if you beat Oklahoma? And I don't think it's going to distract them, but it certainly doesn't help. So I kind of lean. I think where Ralph's leaning as well with the Sooners. I'm not going to lay double digits, and if I came under 10 though, because it has moved down early in the week, then I might consider playing Oklahoma.
All right. Well,
you know what? I'm gonna say that into this game, the edge for the motivation should have gone to Oklahoma State, playing with revenge and with that loss. But it has been a distraction for them. But again, you got to remember, these Oklahoma kids, they are thinking in their minds right now. You're going into this game, and you should be focused on Oklahoma State. And I'm sure to a man, you could say, well, if this team loses and this team loses and we win, we have a shot to get there because our loss was to Ohio State. So again, both teams, unfortunately, are not completely focused on this game. You know, I look at it, the total is based on their performances in the Big 12. I'm actually going to make a lean to the under with both of these teams matched up that know each other well, with defenses that are better than they've played in the past. Not good defenses, but just better than their past competitions. I'm going to make my lean towards the under.
All right, so Ralph's got the under. You're leaning to Oklahoma. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to lean to Oklahoma State. I think right now that they're still underrated, Oklahoma State. I think this line's a tad too high. I know the concerns, can they score against Oklahoma, because they do have one of the better defenses. I'm going to just say that Oklahoma State handled West Virginia. So did Oklahoma, but going in, West Virginia, in my opinion, was the best defense in the Big 12 this year, and they were able to score on them. I'm going to go ahead and take the points with them. I think Oklahoma comes out on top, but I think it's going to be one of those shootouts where who has the ball last wins the game, and I'll take the points. All right, guys, check it out. Raiders 10 this week. You can save $10 over at Wager Talk. You can use that on a weekend all access or any other package we have. Check it out, Raiders 10 for a $10 savings. We'll be back with more here at wagertalk.com.